All right, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Under the Rim podcast. I know it's been a while, but I kind of wanted to try something new. Want to get the face cam going. Want to let you guys see who's talking. This is on YouTube if you guys want to see a face cam. But if you're not listening to on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you might be listening to this, what's up? Sorry for the little break in between. Had to deal with some school stuff, midterm stuff. That just student stuff. But I'm back now, and man, the NBA. Oh my god, bro! If I didn't, it's like when I leave, super teams just get formed. As soon as I stop talking, as soon as I stop doing a podcast for a week or just take a break for a week, then shit hits the fan. Everything just hits the fan. And what am I talking about? Blake Griffin just joined the Nets. We got James Harden went to the Nets. We got Kyrie, Durant teaming up, and now you got Blake Griffin. And I'm hearing rumors that Andre Drummond himself might be going. So, what do I think about this? How am I feeling about this? I'm still gonna rock with my boys. If AD does come back, I'm gonna say the Lakers repeat. Say the Lakers get a repeat. I think they can pull it out. But I generally think we'll be seeing the Lakers Nets finals. I think this is where it's coming to. Oh my god, bro! And you might be wondering, okay, so Blake Griffin isn't that good. He's really not gonna add that much, or you're thinking that. But here's my thing. All right, here's my theory. I released a little snippet on TikTok about what I thought about this, about Blake Griffin. And if you guys haven't followed my TikTok, if you guys do have a TikTok, it's at They Call Me Mythic. That's my my streaming name and just my regular YouTube name, as you can see. You guys can go there, enjoy stream highlights or just my basketball takes, really. But what I basically said and what my whole theory was, okay, about this is Blake Griffin is just capping. Like, he's just lying. He was just lying about what he can do on the Pistons. Because you're telling me a guy, and I've had this guy in fantasy for the last 2 years. All right, I have him this year, and I had him last year, and he before this year, Blake Griffin played really well, and I'm not talking MVP caliber, all like crazy numbers, right? He played really well, like he played really solid, like he could be on a contending team, he could be a starter on a contending team type numbers. A guy that added a jump shot to his resume and and has pretty good handles for a big man like him and can pass like how he can. And he can still dunk. I don't want to hear that whole he hasn't dunked in a year type thing. When you're that big, you can still get up. You can still get up. And I'm telling you right now that as soon as Blake Griffin hits the court, he's going to be a different player. He's not going to be. Don't expect him come out guns blazing and windmilling and posterizing and shit. I'm not talking about that. Don't like mismatch my words or anything. I'm saying he's gonna be better than he was on Detroit, because my theory was he never wanted to be in Detroit. That's my whole theory. Generally, that's my whole theory. I believe that Blake Griffin wanted to be in a contending team. I generally believe that he pulled the James Harden. Essentially, he pulled the James Harden. Started playing like trash, just didn't give anything about it, didn't care, just was kind of giving minimal effort, wasn't very trying, because the Pistons aren't going to beat the Nets. The Pistons aren't going to beat the 76ers. The Pistons aren't going to beat the Bucks. Pistons might not even beat the Raptors, like they probably won't beat the Raptors, or the Celtics, any of these top tier teams. So why would I want to waste my how many years I have left on this team that isn't contending? Let me fake being mad and get traded or released and then signed to a good team, So I think that's what happened. I think that's how he ended up on the Nets. He just capped. Everyone thought he's trash. So when he comes back or whatever, when he starts to play, they're going to gel really well. I think they're going to gel really well. You got Kyrie dropping 40 the other day. You got Harden doing his thing. Durant's about to come back from injury, and I think they're about to run the East for the next couple years. Unless the Bucks or the Celtics or the Sixers somehow figure it out, which I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will, because at this point on the Nets, you got too much firepower. You have too much firepower. The only way I could see you beating them, because every team has to have a weakness, and their weakness is their bench. They don't have a bench. They emptied out everything. They waived a lot of people. They traded a lot of things. They kind of just are running a 6-man rotation deep. And if they get Drummond, it's literally going to be like a top heavy team. You know what I'm saying? So that is the way to go at the Brooklyn Nets for my thing. And this leads into like Anthony Davis. Do I think the Lakers have a good chance of repeating? Yes, but only if Anthony Davis repeats. And I heard it was either last night or this morning that he might be out for another 3 weeks, and that is disheartening as a Lakers fan to hear, because that's crazy. I don't know in the first place why the Lakers medical staff would even put him on the floor with a sore Achilles or whatever he complained about. I'm pretty sure it was a sore Achilles. He was saying he had. I don't know. As soon as he said that, you bench him. You bench him for how many games until it feels better. That injury is not something to play about, especially when you know what type of player Anthony Davis is and you know how easy he can get injured. You know how valuable he is to the team. Why would you, if that's like the Warriors staff letting Durant play in the 2019 finals? Everything's like, nah, I'm good. He could risk his whole career for a comeback that was probably never going to happen, like it just, at this point you can't risk careers over one game. That game was meaningless. It was a game against the Nuggets, I think it was. Who cares? Like, who literally cares? It's just a regular season game against the Nuggets. You don't have to prove anything right now. Like, it's not the playoffs yet. If he says it's sore, just sit him out. And look what it is. He's out for potentially 2 months, 2 to 3 months. Hopefully he can come back for the playoffs, and then I can see this team start rolling again. But other than that, the Lakers have been doing decent. They've been choking in some games that have really been pissing me off. Like, what had me sick the other day? And this was a while back, but when LeBron was taking free throws and Kyrie was like, "That's your best free throw shooter," that shit had me sick. That shit had me so angry. Like, bro, who are you? Like, I know who you are. Why you disrespect? Like, why are you disrespecting? But whatever. I honestly think the best teams to contend or to challenge the Nets in the East right now, I think if the Raptors had a Kawhi type player, they could challenge them clearly. The Raptors have lockdown defense. The Raptors can play. Raptors can still play, as we can see. They've just been, for some reason, the NBA just doesn't like to officiate their games properly. But like, if the Raptors had an All-Star or MVP type player, I could say they could tend to contend. The only people I'm thinking, I'm gonna rule out the Bucks. Sorry for the Bucks fans out there. I don't mean the disrespect, but I don't see y'all going anywhere. I see it maybe second round, but there's not a lot. Pardon me. There's not a lot of changes that have been made. Like, realistically, I want y'all to tell me what changes have been made. Besides adding Drew Holiday, I don't know. Like, Giannis, I gotta see. I'm gonna say he's still, like, based off what I've seen from previous years, they build that wall around Giannis, the whole team collapses, it's over. Miami outcoached Durant circles around this team. The only teams I could see competing against the Nets, if they play like how they are on paper, like how they should be on paper, are the Celtics and the 76ers. I could see them taking them to 6 games. I don't know if they could beat them, but if the Celtics don't play like the overhyped trash they've been, and I'm going to be really harsh with them, because realistically with the team they have, they should have been in the finals last year. They should have beat, well, who did they lose to again? Was it the Sixers or was it Miami? Whoever. They should have went to the finals last year. I strongly believe that. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker. I think the Celtics haven't been living up to any sort of the hype that they've been presenting in the last few years, and it's severely disappointing. And I'm sorry to any of the Celtics fans out there who bleed green, but y'all know this too. You guys been losing, and it's a point where they need. I think I'm telling y'all right now, I believe in your team. I think if you guys play the way you're supposed to play, the way it's on paper, the way this team is on paper, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, all these different pieces you have. Marcus Smart is even though he cheeses me and like gets me upset, he's a good defensive player. All these players have something to bring to the court. Tristan Thompson, all these different players, and it's a good environment. Like, Brad Stevens is not a trash coach, So if you put all these pieces together, they should be able to at least contend. And if they get washed by the Nets, oh my God, bro. The Nets, I don't know if they've been on a winning streak lately, but from what it looks like right now, if that team's at full strength, they're going to be unbeatable. They're literally going to be unbeatable. Close to unbeatable. If they play like how they're supposed to play, Like if Durant comes out and he starts balling, he starts dropping 30, and then Harden's dropping 20 and 10, and then Kyrie's dropping at least 15 plus, like it's over. And then you got Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's a solid defensive player too. Like it just, and then if they add Drummond, and this is getting into if they add Drummond, like I've had Drummond for the last 2 years in fantasy as well, and he will come out and give you at least 10 to 15 points and at least 15 to 20 rebounds a night. He is one of the best rebounders in the NBA right now. And if they can add him, it's a GG. It is a GG. Because you got two big men. If we're the Lakers right now, we need everyone to play at that point to beat them. You need everyone to play at their full capacity. It's like you need Dennis Schroeder to play nice. You need Anthony Davis to not choke or whatever, not play soft. And then you need LeBron to be like LeBron. But I don't know. Like I feel like the Nets might be too stacked at this point. And it's crazy. It's crazy that people will get on LeBron about building teams like this, but they won't say anything when it comes like this. This is something crazy. This is something wild, and we just got to see what happens. I'm not going to put the blame on Kevin Durant, but if you're recruiting these stars too, it's like how much all-stars do you need, really? Like if you get bench players and recruit whatever, that's fine. Or make trades or whatever, but like full on like Blake Griffin, James Harden, Andre Drummond, like bro, it's just LeBron. Like he just won one chip. Relax. Like I promise you will get other rings in the future. I promise you, the man will not be here forever. I guarantee you. And it's crazy to see the Warriors kind of playing how they are too. Steph is making a really good case for MVP. If he can drag them into the playoffs, and like let me check on my phone right now what seed they are, because if this man can drag them into the playoffs past the play-in tournament, I'd give this man the MVP right now. I'd deadass give this man the MVP right now. Even though Joel is looking like the pure favorite for the MVP in my early prediction was LeBron, y'all can't be looking over Steph Curry like this. This man is doing things. And speaking of the Lakers, they're playing the Warriors right now. But let me check this here. So if I'm looking right now, Phoenix is a sleeper team too. But they're 9th seed right now, and you would think with Clay being injured and not having most of the team there and the morale being really low, they'd be a low seed. But this man is kind of willing them. This guy won the 3-point competition too. He's kind of willing them to the playoffs. And let's talk about Phoenix too while we're at it. Chris Paul, bro. Chris Paul. Why is no one talking about Chris Paul for MVP considerations? I know I shit on Chris Paul a lot, but let me tell you this right now. Phoenix would not be in the playoffs without him. Phoenix would not be in the position they are without Chris Paul. Let's start a discussion right now. Chris Paul, the respect on Chris Paul's name needs to be louder. Needs to be louder. And I know I talk my trash about Chris Paul. Shout out to one of my boys, Tyler. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at it right now, but bro, I don't like where what's this guy's stats? Let me try to find it. CP3 15 4 and 8. You see, not too bad, but they're second seed, and the playoffs are almost here. I don't think they were even they weren't even in the playoffs last year. We need to put more respect on Chris Paul's name. I'm telling you right now, we need to put more respect on Chris Paul's name. Just looking at it, I'm looking at the standings right now. I think it's going to be... Honestly, I think the Lakers will reach conference finals, maybe finals, just depending on who they play. I think they'll go finals all the way. I think it's going to be Clippers versus the Lakers conference finals. I'm not buying into this Utah hype. I don't care. Hate me all you want. Get on me all you want. I do not believe. I do not believe in the Utah Jazz, at least this year. I think maybe a couple more years from now, 1 to 3 more years. I'll give them 2 to 3 more years, and they might be full on contenders. But I think Lakers taking them out in the playoffs. I think the Clippers taking them out in the playoffs. I think even the Suns might be able to take them out. And the Nuggets might be able to take them out again. So don't be surprised if they get wiped for a second round. Don't be like, they're looking so good. Trust me. Like, we've seen it before. We've seen it with the Bucks the last few years. The playoffs are a different breed, and I will tell everyone this all the time. Yes, we can't sleep on these teams, but the playoffs are a different breed. players become different players. They either shrink or they grow. This is where the men are made. Like, this is where it separated the boys from the men. We've seen this a lot of times. We've seen players just completely disappear, or Jimmy Butler turn into Michael Jordan. Like, it's something else, and these teams we expect to do really well just kind of shrink, and that's really my thoughts on everything that's been happening in the NBA lately. It's nothing crazy, but watch out for Blake Griffin. I'm telling you guys right now, look out for Blake Griffin. Not like look out for Blake Griffin. He's gonna be a menace to society, but this is my theory. Remember my theory, the BG theory, the BGT. All right, remember the BGT. If he starts dunking, or if he starts playing better than he was on the Pistons, and he goes off, I need a formal investigation into this man's career immediately. I want a full-on investigation. I want a drug test. I want to know. I want a 30 for 30. I want a 30 for 30 on the Blake Griffin Pistons to Nets. I need a 30 for 30 on that. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the webcam stuff, at least for YouTube, if you guys want to check that out. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm going to be trying doing this every Monday. I'm going to try and get back on schedule. I'm going to try and do, on my second channel, my like pure gaming channel, I'm going to try and upload more series on there if you guys want to check it out, or more just like conversational videos, So check that out. It's called Mythic Plays. My main channel on YouTube, they call me Mythic. I also stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, sometimes Wednesdays from 10 to 12 EST. Again, they call me Mythic on Twitch. If you guys want to check that out, drop a follow. Again, on TikTok too, I post highlights, maybe clip highlights of my streams, maybe podcast highlights, anything I really feel like talking about on there that I don't feel like is needed to be made into a full-on video. You guys can check that out too. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week.